Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. Today we'll be building this Gauntlet sword. Enjoy. So to start off this build, I got this piece of cardboard right here. I sanded off some of this texture so the glue can actually stick. Next, I glued that piece onto another piece of cardboard. I also cut some angles so it will curve inward when I glue it all together. Then I curved it inward like that while it was still drying with the glue. Then for the handle, I got multiple pieces of duct tape stacked on top of each other and then cut the corners off. Then I folded it in half and those corners are still sticking out so I can still stick them to the armor. Now that that is secured onto the gauntlet here, we're not going to worry about the forearm strap until later because that's also going to help mount the sword on. But I also cut the edges off just so it's nice and smooth like real steel. And I have this gouge right here, so I'm right-handed. I'm going to put this on my right hand, and that's so I can actually have some elbow movement, and this won't jab into the inner elbow of mine. Next, we're going to work on the hand guard portion right here, and then we'll work on the sword blade. Then I got this rectangular piece of cardboard, which is 4 inches by 7 inches, and I cut a bunch of slits in it, so then when I glue it together, it will look like this. So I used a lot of black hot glue, that's because it's a little bit more flexible. Now I'm just gonna work on mounting this to the outside of the gauntlet, just like so. Now that the gauntlet is pretty much finished for now, we're gonna move on to the sword blade itself. So I have these two very long metal poles that are orange. They're also very, very flexible. And what I'm gonna do is glue them at the top, mount this to the gauntlet, and then cover that in cardboard. Right here, I'm going to glue the fiberglass rods onto a piece of cardboard that is shaped exactly like the blade. And these popsicle sticks are not only here to strengthen the bottom, but also the little bit of elevation, like in the previous clip, shows that I'm going to mount this part onto the gauntlet. Alright, now it's all glued in there and it has a few popsicle sticks for security. And now I'm just going to put a piece of tape over this because I'm going to reduce the weight by either not filling it up with hot glue or using another piece of cardboard. So yeah. Now we're just going to mount the blade onto the gauntlet itself right here, and then we'll go paint it. So after a ton of black hot glue later, this is what it looks like. I also mounted some zip ties right here on the top just to secure it to the gauntlet internally. And we flip it over, more black hot glue of course because it's really strong, and then I use these red strips of duct tape. They're smooth on the inside as the gauntlet straps. So a few more small details and then we're ready to paint this thing silver. So here the gauntlet sword is painted and I ran out of paint on the tip. But here I am just doing a straight punch with the sword. Now this is a very cool weapon, but we have to ask ourselves, does it outperform a long sword? So here's one of my long swords, and I'm going to demonstrate a few basic strikes. I think with the long sword, the wrist movement is very important, and half swording is also one of my favorite moves, so I like using that a lot. You can't really use that with the gauntlet sword. Here's a basic strike, of course, on my test dummy here. There I am driving the pommel and crossguard into the head of my enemy. I feel like that's more effective than the gauntlet sword because you have no wrist movement, and it's good for chopping and stabbing. But at the time you're going to just chop, you might as well just charge your enemy and, you know, punch him in the face. So, is it better than a long sword? No. But is it useless? Also, no. It's a very cool weapon, and it's definitely very useful. But long sword is also my favorite weapon. And I think the lack of wrist movement and detachability takes away from hammer swording, and that's just like my favorite move. So, yeah. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like these builds that I do, like and subscribe for more videos.